Hello, thinkers. Welcome back to the Apex Mind. As you can tell by my sore throat, I'm quite sick. Post Diwali celebrations have taken a toll on me. But the show must go on, and as such, I present to you the second episode of the Apex Mind. Last time we discussed God, this time we discuss compassion and morality. The lens of it all is again going to be philosophical in nature, and I tried to dive as deep as I can in the topic of compassion given the guest. And I think it was an amazing conversation, and you will get to learn a lot about all of this. Once again, if you want to join these discussions, if you want to have some sort of a debate with me, if you just want to get in touch with me, email me here. I think I have put the email right here, but email me and let me know. Maybe you can also be featured in one of these discussions. Hell, if you are going to ask me to be featured, I'm not going to deny you, right? Everyone gets to talk, everyone gets to express, because everyone gets to think, because everyone should think. That is the ethic of this channel. If you're on this channel, you better not be too fuzzy about thinking. You must want to think. Otherwise, you can see all the patterns I find, and maybe you will have your own realization of patterns being everywhere. Anyway, I hope you like this. The topic of this discussion was compassion. Whether or not compassion is even real, or whether it is simply a biological process that we have for the sake of survival. So, metaphysics, as per usual, was discussed. A very materialist point of view on compassion as well. Anyway, it doesn't really matter what your background is. I think this discussion will be enjoyed by everyone. And do let me know your thoughts, good, bad, or even if you want to criticize, just do it down in the comments. I love interacting with you guys in the comments. And let's get this going. So today's topic will be
Yeah,
about morality and whether or not human beings have capacity to be compassionate, uh, other than our selfish or self-centered biological drive for survival and reproduction, right?
or socio-cultural include that.
Yes. So uh, do does any individual human being have the autonomy or the capability to show real compassion and not a motivated sort of compassion?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
That works. Okay, so uh,
Let me rephrase it. I
yeah.
like understand it in a different phase. Uh, I am more influenced from the Buddhist and Hinduist philosophy that the real compassion is when you see the self in everything, and then you see it your see it as a part of yourself. So you drive to protect it. So that's compassion for yourself. That the uh, the boundaries of yourself is the whole world. So you are selfish in being the whole self is this, your ego, or your actual self is disillusioned. So your real self is the world. So you are selfish in the world. Uh, was I clear?
I get what you're saying. So you're saying, although from that person's point of view, it is still technically selfish because they're considering everyone to be part of them, but practically speaking, it comes out as compassion because of their point of view, they're able to be kinder to other people, more compassionate to other people.
Yeah. And the other thing was that till we have not recognized this thing, that we are different from this whole world, then the only then all the compassionate acts are just for our self being. The We are happiness optimizing machines. So all the acts are just to make this self happy and not the world.
Right.
Means it is a means to get myself happy. And when I see the world, then that's real compassion. Until I haven't realized it, then all that is just surface level and fake compassion, I think that.
Right. But as I understand, the definition of compassion has a condition that you have to be have concern for someone else, another suffering, right? So doesn't
Yeah.
the word itself require there to be someone else other than you? I mean, if you consider, from your point of view, you consider the entire world to be yourself. That is the Advaita Vedanta or like Buddhist concept of self. In that case, if you're being kind to yourself, uh, that doesn't technically qualify as compassion, right? The moment you take that frame, you lose the ability to be compassionate. Maybe you are kind, but you cannot be compassionate, because compassion requires there to be someone else. Only then you can act with concern to them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is, I mean, and so I mean, there are a couple of things with compassion, like so firstly, what compassion requires someone else, compassion requires a self. These two things should exist, right? And compassion also requires concern. So imagine this: point A, point B, and then there is a line connecting the two of them. Now this line is compassion, and it can only exist when there is a point A, that is the one being compassionate, and point B, the one to whom that compassion is being sent to. That, does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So in that sense, I would say that within Hindu thought or Buddhist thought, I mean, at least in the thought that the self is the entire world, compassion cannot exist. Kindness can exist, but in that mental framework, compassion cannot exist. So we have to rule out compassion from those philosophies.
Okay, so you change the definition that
Uh,
compassion is for the other being. So
right. I mean, at least that word, right? I'm not saying that you cannot be nice or you cannot be kind, but you're being nice and kind to yourself.
yeah,
So practically
the
speaking,
another aspect.
yeah, another aspect.
Yeah, yeah. You continue.
No, no, no. You like continue.
So I have read so many philosophies, and most of the pattern I see in that is the one part that like philosophers like Schopenhauer, Nietzsche, and Machiavelli kind of like they see the world as war against all. Like we are competing for the self, and the compassion and love I said that doesn't exist in their philosophy. I think
Hmm.
you agree.
Hmm. I mean, Nietzsche doesn't say that compassion doesn't exist. He says that it's all a will to power, that you should be motivated by self. Their focus, they don't consider compassion. They don't say that it doesn't exist. They simply say that this is not something which most people are concerned by, or not even something their Ubermensch should be concerned by. Everyone should be concerned with the will to power, something like that.
He said that altruism is a way to for slave morality. Like you are just a weak, so you are using it as a defense in
Right.
your weakness.
So, would you say he says that there is no compassion, or he says that compassion is weakness?
I haven't read it in detail, but most of the what I read is he says that make your values and stick to that, and there exists no objective morality.
Okay. So, at least from what you just told me, I think Nietzsche doesn't say that compassion doesn't exist, but he does not like it, or he says that it is slave mentality in his terminology, right? It is weakness in a sense. That yes, this
Yeah,
thing exists, but it is not good. Don't do that.
yeah, yeah.
So it's a prescription against compassion. I mean,
Yeah. So
you.
more some more people like that, like Sam Harris, Steven Pinker. These are contemporary and modern thinkers that said the same thing. And
That
at the
compassion
other
doesn't
end,
exist.
there are people not like they believe more in the evolutionary biology or the way we think, like sociocultural and all that thing, like enlightened self-interest. They all believe in that sense.
So
And the
personally,
other end is like
other end is.
people like Vivekanand, Buddha, and you heard of Patanjali Yoga Sutras,
Yes, yes, I've heard of him, although I
and
haven't read him.
like the religious figures like Krishna, or they said that compassion is, or the I think that as like real love or compassion is possible. I think that as two ends of where the evolutionary or sociocultural exists, and the other end as religious figures saying that compassion or love exists from Krishna, Buddha. So,
Right.
what do you think of that?
Hmm. If I have to look at compassion, I can see it from three perspectives. Okay. Perspective number one, or maybe four perspectives. So, firstly, is the perspective of someone who's watching it happen, right? Let's say I am person C, and person C is watching person A be compassionate to person B suffering. So to person C, I do not know what is going on in person A's mind. I do not know what is going on in person B's mind. But I see an act happening. So I can call that to be compassion. So compassion can exist from a third person point of view. Now for person B, who is suffering, to whom person A is compassionate to, for person B also, he does not know what is going on in person A's mind, but the act, if it is beneficial to him, he can perceive that as compassionate. Therefore, from person B's point of view also compassion can exist. Then the third point of view is point of view of person A. Now, if the person A genuinely believes in his heart that I am doing something out of kindness for someone else's suffering, so even person A can believe that compassion can exist. The fourth point is where it is a issue, because the fourth point is what is going on in the subconscious wiring or the biological wiring of person A. If we are evolved in a way to prioritize our survival, and the reason we are nice to members of our species or our community is so that they can help our survival in the long term, now that biological drive cannot be compassionate. So maybe on a biological term, someone cannot be compassionate from that fourth point of view. You cannot be compassionate, but you can at least be compassionate from the other three point of views. That is what I see it as.
Oh, so three perspectives are well structured, and fourth one is debatable.
Yes, and I think the point that you are trying to circle is, uh, are those three point of views even real or worth talking about, or is the biological coding the most important thing here? That this is truth and everything else is simply societal illusions.
Yeah, that our nature is just trying to keep upright this society by allowing compassion.
Yes, so it really depends what you can qualify as real, right? If you believe that uh, someone's point of view is not necessarily real, reality is very objective, and reality is like the root thing that we know. Uh, if that is the case, then all three perspectives do not mean much. What means is simply the biological thing, where it is coming from. But if you believe like compassion is like love, or it is like war, or it is like happiness, these are abstract concepts, right? Our body experiences dopamine in a certain way, and then we call that feeling as happiness. That does not mean happiness is dopamine. That just means we interpret it as happiness. Same with war, same with other things also. So compassion also becomes an abstract concept, which while it can come from the body through the means of our biology, it independently exists only within society and collective understanding. That only if like there are two people who can witness it happening, only then you can call it compassion. So
Okay,
it's like
so
love.
based on our empirical world, like that exists in real, you can say that 95% of all the acts are enlightened self-interest.
I would say
Can we agree on that?
uh, from empirical point of view, right? Like from simply from a materialist point of view, if we consider abstract things to not be real, like love, war, and all of these things are imaginations and they are not real. From that point of view, yes, almost everything, more than 95% is, maybe even 100% is like a form of self-interest in a way.
Yeah.
But if we consider abstract things to be real, for example, Plato had his theory of forms, in which he says that these concepts that we have, are more real than the world itself. So to him, love is more real than the act of love that you can show to someone. To him, love exists beyond human understanding. It is like metaphysically more real. In that sense, compassion will be real. In fact, maybe even more real than biology itself. But that's a very difficult concept to verbalize.
Grasp.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I don't have my whiteboard today, else I could like draw this and it'll be much clearer then.
Maybe we are diverting, but I had one opinion that uh, you can cut this part, but like Bhagavad Gita, in Krishna says to Arjun that kill your own brothers. So from that blends the both perspectives of compassion, that you have to stand for yourself and show compassion in a wise manner. I think that is the ultimate text for me to understand that how can a religious figure that can start a war like that and go against his brother.
I so like personally from my understanding, as just like compassion is an abstract concept, there are other abstract concepts also, right? So Krishna was on the side of truth or justice, and he was trying to preach that, and justice sometimes demands that you do the right thing even if that emotionally hurts you or causes you issues personally. So he was essentially preaching the greater good. If Arjun were to assassinate his family and defeat and kill them in war, that would lead to a better world, a better society, and the establishment of Dharma. And that is the reason he was motivating him for that. So I'm not sure if compassion was exactly mentioned there. It was more so about Dharma, which is, from my understanding, the greater good, the cosmic greater good for society.
Krishna exists on both spectrums. Like when Draupadi was getting all his clothes, her clothes were being torn in the Raj Mahal of Kauravas. Then Krishna had helped him. So the same he think that it is like following your dharma as, and it is compassion. I can't verbalize it.
I mean,
Like doing compassionate act and killing the not so
so maybe you're trying to say that
bad people,
Dharma
like
does
killing
contain
bad people
compassion
is
also.
compassionate act.
Is that something you're trying to say, that Dharma has a component of compassion also? Dharma is a lot of things, it's an umbrella, and within it, compassion also comes.
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
was saying that uh, doing good for good people is compassion, and removing bad people and and not encouraging them is also compassion for the good people.
right. Okay, what do you think of this? So, compassion is something which helps you get closer to Dharma.
Yeah.
Like for example, a negative emotion would be, let's say, anger can both get you closer to dharma or it can take you away from dharma also, but things like jealousy will take you away from dharma the most.
Okay.
So I understand dharma like a pole, like North Pole. Dharma is North Pole and adharma is South Pole. And the job of God is to make sure that things are in alignment towards the North Pole. And compassion is a very useful way, which allows you, it's a useful machinery, a useful tool which helps you align yourself towards dharma, like towards North Pole.
Oh,
That
got
is
it.
how I would understand it. And the reason he helped Draupadi and the reason he punished even Bhīṣma was basically because a society cannot exist in which women are treated like this. And therefore, he had to set an example by saving the woman. So he is restoring order and then punishing the people who saw it and did nothing about it.
Okay.
So that is how I would understand Krishna's whole thing, at least Hinduism's whole thing with dharma. Hinduism is fascinating because ever since the like Upanishad, or maybe even before that, uh, everyone is simply arguing over what is dharma, what is dharma, what is dharma. We're all trying to understand dharma, but I think dharma is technically truth and order, and just we're just trying to understand what can qualify under it.
Being the one with cosmic order, that is dharma.
Yes, cosmic order is basically again greater good, not falling into chaos or anarchy or entropy. Right, things are in alignment. Uh, if I am speaking in a astrophysical sense, I'm not sure how accurate this is, but dark energy and dark matter are things which are essentially making the universe expand, and ultimately there will be a heat death of the universe. And there are electromagnetic forces and gravity and a couple of other forces. They keep the universe together. So those forces which are fighting against the forces of entropy, they can be like what we are trying to do with dharma, right? So gravity will be in alignment with dharma, and something similar to that.
One last, like in a one word, what ratio would you say the world is selfish and compassionate? Like 90-10, or a ratio you can say about the world in selfishness and compassionate.
Okay. So
Empirical world, our the world we live.
I'll go in a typical philosopher's fashion, and I'll give you three answers. So number one is in a very biological sense, a very materialist sense, 1 to 0.
Then it's hundred
Yeah,
percent.
everyone is selfish. Then
Yeah.
in a more abstract sense, in which we consider like whatever common people think of as compassion that exists, I would say it is dwindling at this point. I don't have a lot of statistics, but from my personal experience it will be 3 3 to 7. More people are
Oh,
compassionate than we experience every day, but you will see that the thing is, because
some
we're
acts
so,
exist.
yeah, no, we actually get a lot more compassion than we even recognize. Recently I decided to become more self-aware, so I noticed that I used to snap at some of my friends because they used to say things like, do this, man, why are you doing this, why are you doing that. But I took away my ego from that, and I thought, oh, even if their tone is like this, even if they're saying things that sound mean to me, what is the purpose behind them? They're trying to help me, right? Even if it is by control, even if it is by abusing me, even if it is by whatever, they are coming at it with a compassionate intention. So compassion is all around us, but at least less than half of the people that you're going to interact with are will be the people that you know, your parents, your friends. Those all are usually going to be compassionate to you. Strangers are not going to be very compassionate to you. They'll be neutral to you. And if they get the chance, they'll be very selfish also. People inherently are selfish at the end of the day, but they do show compassion because in modern society, uh, it's not every day that it
Yeah,
is
that
about survival, right?
evolutionary.
Yeah, people can afford to be more compassionate when you are not struggling for food, water, and shelter.
Hmm.
That is how I would understand it.
I had read it for that the once we have all the resources and we have free time, we are we are more inclined to give the other people
Yes, because
once we have that sorted.
mhm. I think it's just that our lizard brains, our biological drives are fulfilled, right? It's not like I'm going to die just because I share a piece of bread with my sister. But let's say if I was
Yeah.
in a very hardcore survival situation and there was no other food, I will die if I shared that piece of bread. So I will not be compassionate then. So it really depends on how privileged you are. So maybe we can say that compassion is the compassion is only allowed to the privileged in society.
Yeah, those who have resources.
Yes, only the people who are privileged have the ability to be compassionate. And I think that makes sense also, right? A lot of these ethical concepts came from religions and philosophers and people who were already well off, right? And you notice that first world countries, they talk a lot about values and whatever, but if you go to like sub-Saharan African, or you go to places which are like have so much poverty other than God, more than likely they're just trying to survive. So they're not going to be thinking of, oh, this is littering, oh, this is going to be unkind to someone. Dude, I am just going to cross the road, I'll do whatever the hell I have to do in order to survive. So that's why poorer people tend to degrade into less morality over time, mostly because morality and compassion can only really arise when you have sufficient food on your plate.
I don't think you subscribe or follow any particular religion or philosophy, but what's your favorite out of all that you have read?
I'll have to go with Advaita Vedanta so far.
And
That's
philosopher?
philosopher Socrates.
Oh,
Socrates, mostly because for his meta philosophy, which is his
method,
style, right?
Socratic question.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, if you notice the earlier videos of my channel, it this was literally what I was trying to do, right, with the AI also. And even here we're doing that. We are trying to get to a larger philosophy through dialogue.
That was his foundation for what Elon Musk calls fundamental first principle thinking.
Yes, you break things down, you break all the assumptions until you recognize, okay, this is the main axiom, I cannot break this anymore. Now I can build from that. And that is why, even personally on my channel, also, I was able to come up with so many different frameworks, right? I have like 20 videos per playlist, each of which, if you open, there is like some new sort of thing that I ended up discovering because I was questioning myself a lot. So I think it
Yeah,
is
I
important.
literally loved your channel. Like first I listened to Shwetab Gangwar, if you
Yeah.
heard of.
Mhm.
Then I listened to some Acharya Prashant. I kind of like that guy.
Mhm.
Then I saw your channel. I watched the video and I saw something different. You aligned with both those guys. So I stopped watching them and I tried to make my thinking like yours. So I am trying my best, but still I stumble somewhere.
Oh no, honestly, the fact that you're even questioning is already proof, at least in my very strict worldview, that you are human, right? This is at least how I want people to be, how I would want like humanity to define itself as. We all have that capacity, right? It's a shame that we don't think, and but I really wish that people would. If you ever have the time, I would suggest to look up the dialectical method by Hegel. Hegel's dialectical method. Uh, I stumbled
Uh,
upon it, and it turns out it was very similar to what I was like doing naturally. And when I studied it, I was able to gain a deeper understanding of how this thing works. It's basically, I think, let's say I say Apple exists, and you say apples don't
Maybe I
exist.
have heard of it. Like, does he say that you have two opposing views and you stay with them till you get a broader understanding of both of them?
Kind of. So it's like you and I don't agree that apples are red. I say apples are red. You say apples are not red. And then we are like fighting. So uh, if we are kept in the same situation and we have to resolve this paradox, then the answer that we come up with will be a higher answer, right? The higher answer will be apples can sometimes be red, but not always, which is true. Some apples are green. So how did we arrive that? We arrived that by opposing viewpoints. So if you keep doing that to your own thoughts about morality, your own thoughts about truth, your own thoughts about religion, you will arrive at some real conclusions. And once you arrive at those, question them also until you cannot question anymore. That is how he understood, like someone would go towards a sort of enlightenment, right? All Western philosophy ended up talking about enlightenment, although they did not used to like to use that word a lot.
Oh.
So that
That's
helps.
that's basically what we did with this selfish and compassion. That the world in one narrative, like we are selfish or we are compassionate, and the reality is nuanced and complex.
Yeah, it's always everything. I think it's complex also, but if we break it down, at the end of the day, we can reach to a very clear answer also. I think the clear answer we reached was that from one point of view, which is the biological point of view, compassion cannot exist. But if you're talking about an abstract point of view in which love and war exist, then compassion does exist. It's a very simple answer when you think about it, because it allowed both of them to exist, and you can apply this answer at anything that you witness in the world and it will make sense. So why did we reach that? Because we were able to discuss and think and question all of this,
Yeah, sure.
right? So it's fun. I would like urge you, like, keep watching the channel, man. Like, if and do like comment your thoughts also. You have really good thoughts. I would like to have you in the comment section and like give me your thoughts on whatever I speak, and let me know what you think of that, right? And we can maybe do
Sure,
this
sure.
again if you ever want to talk again about something else also.
I have had another topic, but I am not clearly able to put it in words now. So I would try again. Sure.
Any time, whenever you feel like you have a topic that you want to discuss or you want to talk about, just like send me an email and like we'll arrange a meeting.
Sure, sure. I had most. Can you suggest me any other resource? I have read so many resources. J. Krishnamurti, Osho, but maybe I lack in some part of understanding. Like maybe I lack somewhere. I think I feel it. So can you suggest me anything?
I can see books are endless, and like many people are very intelligent and also very wise. But I would just recommend you a method, which is anytime any sort of thought comes to you, question it. For example, I have a blue bottle in my hands right now. I would question this. Oh, is it blue? What even is blue? Where does the term blue comes from? So why do I call it blue and not green? And before you know it, you'll have some sort of enlightening experience with that. Even something as simple as a blue bottle. So it's all everywhere. Like, as I say on the channel, patterns are everywhere. You can take anything and you can reach a much higher understanding of the world itself.